It's the end of an era in Destiny 2 as Glad has just announced why he won't be competing in the Epic Raid Race. If you don't know who Glad is, he's a former world's first raider, an avid raider in Destiny 2. He built his entire channel, his entire brand was built off of endgame content inside Destiny 2. And he's obviously transitioned over the last few years to being more variety, of course. But his passion for Destiny 2 has always been there. He's always wanted to see the game get better. So him leaving these raid races is definitely a sign of the times. It's a bad thing. But I want to listen in here and see exactly what his reasons are and kind of weigh in my opinions to see if I agree. So let's jump right into it.
I told you guys this yesterday. I was thinking about it. I hadn't made up my mind yet. And I told Sweat at the wedding too. It's not like I came out of the blue. As soon as they announced all this and everything, and then I hate that they're doing another fucking belt for this. I know some people agree and they want more races, but like, I'm down for new races, not the same raid.
I mean, that's a fair criticism. If we could actually get more new raid races, I think a lot more people would be excited for this. The only raid race that would be not new that I'd still be excited for would be Wrath of the Machine coming back to Destiny 2. But that aside, I think that it would be nice if all the raid races were new. But Bungie's trying something different. You know, they want to drop the raid and then they want to drop the epic raid. I don't hate it, especially if they do add new mechanics and, as they have hinted, maybe new encounters. It would seem as though they're not going to do that. We covered that in a previous video, but it is kind of a point of contention where people want to know, like, you know, why are we going to do multiple raid races within the same raid? I guess I would say the real excitement is solving those puzzles for the first time, seeing that environment for the first time, and it doesn't quite hold up to that same standard when you do a repeat of the raid race. But also, I guess, you know, when you put all this time and money into developing a piece of content like Desert Perpetual, for example, you do want to get as much out of it as possible, right? You want the Destiny 2 players to play it again and again and again, because it obviously costs a ton to develop these things.
And then, like, I know I meme all the time about like the prestige belt, right?
Did someone just rip ass? What the hell?
Right? But like, literally, where the fuck is my prestige Leviathan belt then? If this is how it's going to be, give me my other belt.
So what he's talking about is that him and his team actually got world's first in Prestige Leviathan. And this was actually an interesting era in Destiny because Bungie had not announced world's first belts. So what they did once they launched world's first belts with, I believe, Last Wish, they retroactively gave them to all the teams that got world's first. And that was a nice thing for Bungie to do because obviously they didn't have to retroactively go back and give them. But there was a bit of a point of contention where him and his team got world's first in Prestige Leviathan. And honestly, they deserved a belt for that. It may seem a little petty from Glad here to still cling on to this all these years later. But if you're actually looking at the facts, like if you're getting a belt for clearing Desert Perpetual and you're getting a belt for clearing the epic version, then they definitely should have gotten a belt for doing Prestige Leviathan.
Oh, because someone gets a belt for this, and where's my Prestige Leviathan belt? So that's another thing. I hate how they're doing another raid race for a raid we just had. I remember we memed about this back in the day about, like, you know, them having multiple races for the same raid within like a 2-month period, and here we fucking are. And then the most boring, uneventful, uninteresting power grind I've ever been a part of is just like I preferred the old system where I had little yellow nodes on the map and I would jump across to activities and just do what I need to do and then move to the other one. Like, dude, I just cannot be fucking asked. And then right along with all that, like, not only does that just kill any of my interest in the game, but then that also, like, I literally have no gear, no good new gear, so I'm at a huge disadvantage. So I have no armor. The raid is allowing the use of new armor and taking advantage of the DR and the weapon buffs, and they disabled a bonus. Well,
they technically did disable the bonus. It was kind of a last minute notice they said with that. But basically what the point is for Glad here is that he feels like he's not very prepared for the raid because the power grind is pretty crazy and various other reasons. And he's not necessarily complaining about the weapon grind or the loot grind. He's more just giving reasons as to why he backed out last minute, because a lot of people are coming after him and roasting him on social media because, you know, 2 days before the raid launches, to back out on your team is a pretty rough thing to do. Like, your team has to find a last minute replacement. And obviously when you're a world's first raider, a former world's first raider, right? And someone that previously took the game very seriously, it's hard to find a good teammate on short notice, because usually all the good people kind of have teams well in advance. Like usually you formulate your team like a few months in advance if you want to have a serious chance of completing it, and completing it fast, like for a high placement even.
Oh, I didn't fucking know that. Either way, it doesn't change. It still doesn't change the fact that I just really don't. I'm just like, when I think about tomorrow or the day after, it's just not something I want to fucking do. And that's another point too, is like they keep fucking changing shit, man. Like not only did they change the date of the raid, but they're like, okay, gear this, not swap that. Okay, now we're not doing the gear. What's next? They take fucking not swap off tomorrow. Like, I just feel like Bungie, I don't know what the fuck happened with that game, man. Like, I just don't want to play Destiny at all. And then I don't want to bring the vibe down during a day one because I'm playing Destiny when I don't want to and I'm not interested. Like, I just don't want to be in there. Not swap is just fucking dumb and nobody asked for that. And, you know, all the best players in the world, like they that's what they do. They practice, you know, doing what they need to do to optimize. And swapping stuff for different parts of the raid, especially during an encounter, is like, that's part of optimizing. That's the whole point that loadouts exist. I don't know. There's just like so many negative things that just...
A lot of people dislike not swap. Let me know where you stand. Do you like not swap? Are you okay with it in the raid, or do you hate it? Let me know in the comments. A lot of people disliking not swap.
The last like week or two, there's just been so many negative things, and I'm just like, I'm really just struggling to see anything positive. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just struggling to see anything positive out of all of this. Like, a thing that I've been thinking about specifically the last 2 days is I just don't want to bring the vibe down in the team, and a day one raid is a, you know, it's a 6-man activity. And I don't, you know, the last raid I was all there for it, man. I was all in. I had never played so much Destiny, but I just don't like that they're doing the race for this, and then everything around it is ass, and then Twitter, like, dude, the game is just annoying me, man. Like, more so than normal, because then you have on Twitter, like, every single time there's a new update to the game, everyone's like, okay, this is the one, you know, this is what we need. But like, it's always Bungie's in a hole and they need to climb back out. This is the update that needs to save the game. Updates come and then it's never what people wanted, and then people are always just upset. And like, how many times I have to knock on your fucking skull to make you realize that this game isn't gonna fix itself. It needs a new fucking game. It's just always gonna be Destiny 2. Always. Nothing is ever gonna change, and people always think that it's going to change and it's never going to happen. So then you just have people either constantly bitching all the time because they're just always have their expectations set way too fucking high for no reason at all. The days of Bungie producing glorious content stopped in like 2019, 2020.
2019, 2020? Hey, wait a second. That might be a bit too far. I know some of you might be shaking your head agreeing, but, you know, 2022, that was the Witch Queen, you know what I'm saying? And then we had Final Shape. Like, there's been some really good content in the last few years. Let's not, you know, there's also been some really bad low points. Kind of what we're experiencing right now is the extreme swing of things, right? Final Shape was incredible. And then a few months later, we're like, now what? You know, now everyone's gone, everyone left. There's really not a whole lot to do. And then just endless controversy after controversy, lawsuit after lawsuit. And basically it just keeps dogpiling on top of Bungie. It's been rough, but I wouldn't say that the game has been bad since like 2019, 2020. That's maybe a bit far. I get it where that comes from, because that's when sunsetting happened and we lost a lot of content, and the community sentiment did quickly fall off a cliff with sunsetting. Like, that's one of those things like Bungie will probably never recover from, truly. Like, everyone's going to always be mad about the 2020 sunsetting.
And then when they fucking put something in the Eververse store and then there's no typos in any of the text, then you got the fucking glazers that come out. Don't even get me started on these fucking knuckleheads. Glorping the fucking cum out of Bungie, and Bungie, like, the glazers are ridiculous, bro. I see these motherfuckers, man, just like, oh my god, this is so great. It's like, bro, fuck you. Like, not to sound like a fucking Scrooge, but like, dude, like, the glazers are just as worse as the people that are expecting change and never getting it for 6 fucking years. Like, people just think that it's gonna change. Like, it's nothing is going to change about this game. It's been in a downward spiral for years, and there have been spikes of joy and sunlight, and that's fine. It's hard to tell if how bright those sun rays are, or if it's just because I play the game, you know, on new content releases, so everything does feel nice. That company is just not what it fucking was. It's not the same company that made Halo. It's not the same company that made Destiny 1. It just seems all over the place. And like I said maybe 5 minutes ago, that now it just seems like they're making all these changes last minute and out of nowhere, and then they're reverting the changes, and then they have no idea, like they have no fucking backbone. They don't know what the hell they want to do. Nobody wants this fucking hot swap bullshit. Like everything, I follow a lot of like elite players on Twitter, and it just seems like everyone just would prefer that it wasn't on the raid. So why are they putting some shit on a raid that they're on a contest raid that is made for specific players? Why are they putting stuff into that those specific players don't want or like? This
It does feel a bit tone deaf, that's for sure. I mean, if the contest, which it kind of is, if the contest is for the most elite, right, the most sweaty of the sweaty people out there. I mean, if you're going for a world's first, you know, you got to be pretty sweaty. You know, you got to be no life in Destiny 2 to a certain degree. You know, you're not playing the game at a casual pace on the weekends only and getting a world's first. You know, you're locking in, you're playing every day, you're grinding, you're doing probably low mans, you know, you're dedicated if you're going to get a world's first, likely, right? And so these contests are kind of for that. So we could see like the spectacle of like, what does it look like when the best of the best compete and try to beat the most difficult raid encounters that Bungie can possibly cook up? You know, like that's what the contest is. So when we throw these modifiers like not swap on here, you know, when it upset, even if you don't care for not swap, like you're like, it's not that big a deal, everyone's just crying, right? If all of the people that are like on like doing these contest raids are all kind of in a unanimous decision of like, we don't like not swap, we don't want this for the contest raid, then it's kind of like, you know, you're pissing off the community that is really, you know, doing this activity anyways. And a lot of them have protested and left and decided not to do this raid race. Like there's a bit, it's become pretty controversial. The not swap addition to this epic contest raid race has been definitely one of the biggest contention points I've seen in a while from the community.
simplest solution is just fucking lock loadouts at this point, because what they're trying to do with hot swap, there's so many little stupid loopholes that now you're just making people min max in dumber and stupider ways, and they're still going to be swapping stuff because not everything counts as a swap. So people are still going to like surge swap and all this shit. So you're not really changing anything. If you want like a true not swap, then just do like a locked loadout thing, and that kind of solves all the issues. That would honestly be better, so you don't have to worry about it. But I think it's just stupid in general. A game that allows you to swap weapons for 10 years, and a game that has incorporated loadouts into its system. Players have been min-maxing what weapons and gear they use during encounters for fucking 10 years now. Why all of a sudden are we doing this not swap? It just seems like a band-aid fix to power creep. All these things.
I mean, I see where it comes from. Obviously, when you have the implementation of loadouts and the ability to swap your loadouts and like fully spec them into either boss damage or ad clear, yeah, no, this makes it clearing these really challenging activities much, much easier. If you didn't have that, then what you'd have is you'd have to either have a loadout that's a blend of ad clear and damage, right? And then it would be a lot harder to actually like finish the boss in time because you don't have that like fully kitted min-max DPS loadout that you're swapping to. So you'll have a blended loadout, which will make the challenge higher and harder, right? Or you would have to roam around with just your DPS loadout the whole time, like just your boss loadout, and just suffer like clearing these ads with like the worst weapons and abilities that you know what I'm saying? It would be tough, right? So it's going to be, you know, it's a trade-off, right? You have to decide how you want to adjust your builds to deal with not swap, or like you said, even locked loadouts would be the same thing. And when Bungie's actually balancing the sandbox, they're walking around with like a build on and shooting enemies and shooting bosses, and they're getting a feel for like, this is what it would feel like when the players are in here, right? In their own little sandbox engine, like their little sandbox room that they're doing, right? And but then when you factor in the fact that people aren't actually walking around like that, they're swapping their loadouts constantly to get even stronger and create even crazier combinations, then it's like, you know, then Bungie would have to factor that in. And I have to become a part of the game normally in regular gameplay. And so it's just, unfortunately, what Bungie really slipped up on is they added loadouts to the game, and people immediately decided to just start swapping loadouts and making themselves so much powerful. As soon as it happened, people were soloing raid bosses that were ordinarily never soloable, like would not have been possible with the current sandbox. So It's because Bungie's laziness that they've gotten themselves in this predicament. The community became way too comfortable with swapping loadouts, and now it's just become normal. And so now you got to go back to learning how to play without that. There's some growing pains here for sure. If not, unless it turns out to be so bad and everyone revolts against it that Bungie chooses to never do it again. We'll see.
Things are just so annoying. Like, I just don't like. I mean, the banning of stuff it's whatever. This is actually my first, my first ever contest slash world first race that I am not interested in so much, to the extent that I'm just not even gonna play. Yeah, like I don't want to get on and practice. I don't want to fucking play. I don't want to bring the team's vibe down. That game is just so not appealing to me. Like it's just so bleh. It's so boring, and I don't care. You know, I get a lot of viewers on day one raids. I don't care if I get a lot of fucking subs and sub revenue. I've never been in it for the fucking money or the viewers or the fucking ad revenue or the subs. I play games what I want to play. I play what makes me happy. I play what's interesting, and I play what's good. And right now that game is just none of those things, and I do not care getting on and making sure that I gotta be on for day one raids. You're glad? No, I don't fucking have to be on for anything, you know? I'll play what I want to play. The only thing I feel bad about is giving my team a short heads up, but that's honestly because I knew it was going to be a last second decision. Maybe this is the point where this game has just reached its full, like, I am just so fatigued by it officially, to the point where the only thing that I actually still care about, day ones, even that is fading for me now, because just how bland and how much of a showing up for work vibe that game gives me. Like if I had to play that game on Saturday, feel like I would be like clocking in for a job that I fucking hate. Like, I do not want to be there. I do not want to.
All right, I mean, we got to have to roast this just a little bit here, because clocking in for a job that you hate, of course, I think a lot of us actually know what that's like, but clocking in to play a raid inside a video game and being this down and being this upset about it, I mean, maybe let's tone it down a little bit. You're not interested in doing the raid. That's fine. Let's move on to the next part, because there's a lot of people out there that actually have to clock in and do some manual fucking labor, dude. They're lifting steel and they're breaking their back, and they're like, oh yeah, sit in your chair, your comfy chair, and sip on some soda and play a raid all day,
Fucking practice raids. I do not want to run raids. I do not want to fucking. I want to play games that are fun and give me things to chase and goals and progression that is intriguing. And that game is just fatigued the fucking hell out of me. And like, I don't know, man. I don't know what the fuck they're doing over there. Just it's just crazy to think about that. Like, the one thing that I just still preach to be such an amazing experience, the contest raid. I mean, this one's different though. Like, if this was a brand new raid, it would be totally different, right? I just continue.
So if it's a brand new raid, we would allow hot swap, but the repeat raid with the hot swap, I think that was kind of the boiling point for a lot of the sweatiest world's first raiders out there.
Continue to see these weird trends. Like, those are my thoughts. I don't know. Maybe I'll have an editor turn this into a video and just upload it on the channel. There's my clicks and views. Woo! Yeah, watch the video. Give me some clicks and views. I don't know, man. I am just so much happier like playing other games.
All right, so there it is. That was why I won't be in the epic raid race from Glad. That's his reasoning. And let me know what you think about it down in the comment section below. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Later.